The Chiefs are sitting on a powder keg, and nobody seems to realize just how explosive this whole situation is about to get. While everyone's distracted by preseason highlights and feel-good training camp stories, Kansas City is orchestrating moves behind the scenes that could completely reshape not just their roster, but the entire balance of power in the NFL. The clock is ticking faster than a Mahomes no-look pass, and by August 26th, when that final 53-man roster gets locked in, some of the decisions coming out of Arrowhead are going to send shockwaves throughout the entire league. And man, this isn't just another routine round of cuts. This is a high-speed chess match with sharp maneuvering, shrewd trades, and meticulously calculated roster construction that could set the tone for the entire league. As this date approaches, general managers across the NFL are running around like crazy in an avalanche of deals that go unnoticed, but could be seismic. This is when holes get patched, hidden gems are discovered, and overlooked talent gets new life on rosters that were struggling. Last season, Kansas City was one of the most aggressive players in this late August madness, making moves that avoided the spotlight but carried lasting consequences. Remember the acquisitions of Peyton Mendersott and Cam Thomas? They weren't headline-grabbing blockbusters, but they were surgical, forward-thinking strikes tuned to the Chiefs' long-term plan. That same strategic pulse is back on the table now, and whispers inside Arrowhead suggest the Chiefs are preparing to strike again before kickoff. Among the names circulating, one stands out for both familiarity and perfect fit: Anthony Bradford, offensive guard for the Seattle Seahawks. Bradford isn't a stranger to Kansas City. The Chiefs hosted him for a top 30 visit when he came out of LSU in 2023. Now 24 years old, with over 1,000 career snaps, he embodies the mixture of youth and experience every team seeks. Although his results so far have been merely average, ranking 72nd among guards by PFF, those numbers came in the chaos of an unstable, injury-riddled unit. The fact that Seattle drafted over him, plus strong depth in other positions, left him on the bubble. For the Chiefs, Bradford offers a safer floor than Kingsley Sumatea and a higher ceiling than Mike Caliendo. And with 2 years of rookie control remaining, plugging him into a stable, elite unit alongside Creed Humphrey and Josh Simmons could transform him into a stopgap into a long-term cornerstone of the trenches. Following this line of possible acquisitions, another intriguing possibility lies in wide receiver Jalen Tolbert from the Dallas Cowboys. At first glance, Kansas City's receiver room looks well-stocked, but a closer look reveals fragility. Rashee Rice faces suspension, Hollywood Brown's health is always a question mark, Juju Smith-Schuster, though experienced, carries persistent durability concerns. Suddenly, that depth that once seemed powerful is looking fragile. Enter Tolbert into this equation, a guy with 4.33 speed and agility and versatility to play both outside and in the slot. Drafted in 2023, he's already accumulated respectable numbers despite competing against one of the NFL's deepest receiver rooms in Dallas. With so many names ahead of him on the depth chart, Tolbert is buried. But in Andy Reid's adaptable scheme, his skill set is tailor-made. And with 2 more years on his rookie contract, he'd be more than a temporary rental. He'd be an investment. Shifting focus to the backfield, the situation gets even more interesting. Brian Robinson Jr. from the Washington Commanders is quietly emerging as a trade candidate, mainly due to the rise of rookie Jaden Daniels and the signing of Austin Eckler. Washington's reluctance to commit long-term only fuels speculation. Robinson won't dazzle fans with highlight reels, but he embodies consistency and mental toughness. His running style mirrors Isaiah Pacheco's, relentless, physical, and built to wear down defenses. The idea isn't to replace Pacheco, but to strengthen the position with durability and depth. Robinson has produced over 730 yards in each of the last 3 seasons with 15 total touchdowns, a model of reliability. Pairing him with Pacheco could create a brutal 1-2 punch capable of punishing defenses all year long. On defense, depth in the trenches remains a priority, and Zach Pickens from the Chicago Bears emerges as an intriguing target. A former third-round pick, Pickens was drafted for his length and disruptive potential, but hasn't fully developed yet, notching just 1.5 sacks in 2 seasons. With the Bears adding Caleb Williams and other rookies, his role seems expendable. For Kansas City, this is the kind of high-upside swing worth taking, injecting youth, length, and disruptive traits into the defensive interior alongside Chris Jones. These potential additions, Bradford, Tolbert, Robinson, and Pickens, aren't just about filling empty roster spots. They're about calculated depth, controlled contracts, and forging a roster that can withstand the grind of a championship chase. The analysis is clear. With Patrick Mahomes at the heart of a dynasty, balancing between brilliance and chaos, every move counts more than ever. At OTAs, Coach Andy Reid was visibly impressed. "He's ahead of schedule," he said, eyes gleaming. Simmons isn't taking full reps yet, but the plan is meticulous. Build his confidence in individual drills, then unleash him against elite defenders like Chris Jones and George Karlaftis. Adam Schefter from ESPN recently declared, "If Simmons is healthy, he's your Week 1 starter at left tackle." That means veteran DJ Humphries, signed as an insurance policy, might never enter the huddle. For Simmons, it's a trial by fire and a chance to become the immovable object protecting Kansas City's greatest asset. This offensive line situation connects perfectly with another fascinating development, the resurrection of players who were off the radar. Taquan Thornton went from forgotten to flashy at impressive speed. Even in a star-studded receiver room featuring Marquise Hollywood Brown, Rashee Rice, Juju Smith-Schuster, and rookie sensation Xavier Worthy, Chiefs coaches continued chasing hidden gems. On a scorching Thursday afternoon, one emerged. Thornton, the former Baylor burner, once a second-round pick by New England, stole the spotlight with two jaw-dropping catches at OTAs that left defenders flailing. Thornton's NFL journey has been turbulent, brilliance drowned in injuries and inconsistency. But his college finale, 62 receptions, 948 yards, 10 TDs, is a reminder of his true ceiling. With 5 WR spots seemingly locked up, Thornton could force his way to the 6th if his OTA surge carries through camp and into preseason. The window is narrow, but the spotlight is his for now. Connecting all these developments is the possibility of a trade that could flip the division upside down. When the Chiefs waited until pick 228 to draft running back Carson Steele, fans sensed a storm brewing. Whispers of a blockbuster trade swirled, and one name kept resurfacing: Breece Hall. Connor Orr doubled down, suggesting Hall could be on the market as the Jets struggle with contract decisions, and Kansas City would be a prime destination. Hall's rookie campaign dazzled with 5.8 yards per carry. His sophomore season was monstrous, 1,585 total yards. But in year 3, under Aaron Rodgers' pass-heavy offense, he regressed. Now the Jets have drafted other talents and face salary cap decisions. Hall might be expendable, and Kansas City's revamped O-line could be the perfect platform for his next chapter. This trade talk leads us to one of the most electrifying possibilities: Kyle Pitts as the heir to Kelsey's throne. Dynasties don't rest, and with Travis Kelce walking toward the twilight of his legendary career, the Chiefs are looking to the future. Kyle Pitts, the 24-year-old enigma whose misutilization in Atlanta has sparked intrigue throughout the league, represents a unique opportunity. Despite his 2,651 career receiving yards and 10 touchdowns, Pitts hasn't reached his full potential yet. The Atlanta offensive coordinator Zach Robinson admitted as much, questioning his consistency and attention to detail. With his fifth-year option approaching, Atlanta risks losing him for nothing. For a team like Kansas City, obsessed with speed, mismatches, and creative chaos, Pitts could be the perfect torchbearer. All this talk about future and potential brings us back to current reality, the brutal numbers the Chiefs faced last season. Mahomes was sacked 6 times in a single game, a brutal indictment of a line that buckled when it mattered most. That collapse didn't just end their dream of a historic three-peat, it sent the front office back to the drawing board. Last season, the offensive line conceded 41 sacks, placing them 16th in the NFL. Not catastrophic, but far from championship caliber. When your franchise rides on the shoulders of football's ultimate talisman, Mahomes is the lifeblood of this dynasty. Keeping him upright isn't a priority, it's a mandate. So the Chiefs didn't tiptoe into free agency, they dove headfirst. Their marquee splash was a 2-year, $30 million package for DJ Humphries. On paper, it looked ambitious. In reality, fans are already experiencing buyer's remorse. Drafted in the 5th round in 2021 by San Francisco, Humphries spent 4 seasons as a reserve, logging just 12 starts as a swing tackle. His 2024 stint at left tackle sparked just enough optimism to lure Kansas City into overpaying. Whether they unearthed an overlooked gem or hastily patched a chronic issue, shelling out $30 million for a glorified backup raised eyebrows across the league. This offensive line financial situation connects to bigger questions about dynasty sustainability. The Chiefs are facing an almost impossible task, maintaining a Super Bowl caliber roster with limited resources and aging stars. This is exactly where Mahomes' genius becomes both a blessing and a curse. Fox Sports recently celebrated the 5th anniversary of Mahomes' historic $503 million contract, and they asked a question that fractured the fan base. How many rings will Mahomes really win? What followed wasn't just a casual debate. It was a battle cry, a polarizing eruption that divided Chiefs loyalists, NFL analysts, and football traditionalists into opposing camps. The true believers see Mahomes not just as a generational quarterback, but as a football messiah. These fans foresee him eclipsing even Tom Brady's legendary 7-ring legacy. One loyal fan declared with bold conviction, he'll end up with 5 or 6, but don't be surprised if he matches Brady's 7. But then there's the opposing faction, the skeptics, not trolls or rival fan bases, but seasoned voices who see warning signs and believe the golden era is fading. The salary cap burden Mahomes' contract creates, restricting elite acquisitions, the aging of fundamental stars like Travis Kelce, whose eventual departure could dismantle the offense's core identity. The rise of rivals, Buffalo, Baltimore, Cincinnati, building rosters designed specifically to dethrone KC. The most honest analysis is that this dynasty window isn't infinite. Even the greats decline, worn down by time, injuries, and relentless expectations. Brady was the exception, not the blueprint. But the conversation goes even deeper. It's not just about Mahomes, it's about the system around him. The Chiefs' front office now faces an almost impossible task, maintaining a Super Bowl caliber roster with limited resources and aging stars.